Hello friends, welcome to this series of videos for the explanation of Chapter 15 Puruṣhottama Yoga of the holy and inspiring Srimad Bhagavad Gita, one shloka at a time. Let us see the 16th shloka of this chapter. dvāvimau puruṣhau loke kṣharaśhchākṣhara eva ca sarvāṇi bhūtāni kūṭa-stho'kṣhara uchyate. There are two types of beings, puruṣhas, in this world, namely kṣhara and akṣhara. All of the living beings are called kṣhara, and the consciousness, the Atman in those beings is called akṣhara. Let us understand this shloka a little bit further based on Jñyāneśwari, which was written by Sant Jñyāneśwara more than 725 years ago. Bhagavān Śri Kriśna says that the perishable being is called kṣhara, and the one which is imperishable, immortal, is called akṣhara. Sant Jñyāneśwari Maharaj says about this that ek andhra veda pangu yera sarvange purata changu pari grama gune sangu ghadala dogha taya eka nama ksharu yerate mhanati aksharu ihi dohinchi pari samsaru kondala ase. This means, even though it seems perfectly normal in the appearance, one of these two beings is blind in the sense that one who does not properly know the nature of self due to ignorance is also distracted in the sense that one who believes that the body-mind is the truth, and also paralytic in the sense that the one who is addicted to the body-mind. It is called kṣhara. The second type is omniscient and omnipotent. It is called akṣhara. However, since both of them live in the same universe, they have developed an affection for each other. Together, these two have covered this entire world. All the living beings in this world, from the tiny blade of grass, small or great, stationary or moving, visible to the mind, or those which are objects of the senses, which is composed of the Pancha Mahabhutas, the five basic elements, those which have a name form, which is bound by the three gunas, which has birth and death, or has origin and end, that which arises and perishes moment by moment, that is, everything that exists in this creation is called kṣhara. Everything contained and covered in the Ashwatha tree, which was described earlier, is kṣhara. Sant Jñyāneśwari Maharaj gives some examples and says that te jaisa kuha apanachi bimbe siha pratibimba pahata kshobhe maga kshobhala samarambhe ghali tetha ka salili asatachi ase vyomavari vyoma bimbe jaise advaita houni taise dvaite ghepe. Means, just as a lion looks at its own reflection in a well, then gets angry at the reflection and jumps into the well in its drowsiness, or just as the reflection of the sky in the water looks like as if the sky is actually there, in the same way, Advaita, the non-dual, also appears to be accepting the duality. Considering the body itself as a city, the Kshara Purusha sleeps in his oblivion. As a sleeping person sees a bed in a dream and sleeps soundly on it, in the same way the soul sleeps in this body. Then in this sleep, happiness and sorrow, ego and affection, I and mine, I am fair, I am rich, my parents, my family, my world, my wealth, and with similar thoughts, the one that gets stuck in this world is called Kshara Puruṣha. One who forgets himself and acts with the techniques of the attributes of all the beings is called Kshara Puruṣha. Just as the moon that appears in the flowing water seems to bounce along with it, so this Purusha appears to be similar to the disorders of the body and the mind, which are the disorders like lust, anger, and greed. This being is called Kshara because of its impermanence and weakness. Further, about the Akshara Purusha, Sant Jñyāneśwara says that just as Mount Meru is in the middle of all the mountains, it is not divided into the three worlds of heaven, earth, and hell, and it is of the same form in all these three worlds. Similarly, Akshara Purush stays the same across the real knowledge and ignorance or illusion. He does not become one with Brahman with the true knowledge of I am Brahman, nor does he accept duality with the delusional knowledge of I am the body. This kind of pure ignorance is the sign of Akshara. For making utensils from the soil, mud is made from dry soil, and then utensils are made from that mud. If the mud dries, it turns back into soil. This Akshara Purush is like the state in which that mud is. If ignorance ends, pure Brahman is realized. And if karma arises from ignorance, the bodily form in the universe is the result. The state of sleep, which is when the waking state has passed and the dream state has not yet begun, should also be understood as similar to the form of the Akshara Purusha. Pai sarvopadhi vinashe, he jiva dasha jetha paise, phalapa kanta jaise, jhada biji. Just as when the fruit ripens, the tree remains within the seed in the lean form. Similarly, if all the gross and subtle qualities are destroyed, the soul in which this jiva remains in the lean form is this Akshara. Kshara Purusha is in the waking state and sometimes in the dreaming state of sleep. But in both of these states, the Akshara Purush exists. Deep sleep is the state of Sushupti state in which one does not perceive disorders. That Sushupti means this Akshara Purusha. It never perishes. That which is kūṭa-stho'kṣhara, that is imperishable, is called Akshara Purusha. Let us recite this shloka again. dvāvimau puruṣhau loke, kṣharaśhchākṣhara eva ca, kṣharaḥ sarvāṇi bhūtāni, kūṭa-stho'kṣhara uchyate. Friends, let's meet again in next few days to listen and to learn about the next shloka of this 15th chapter of Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Till then, Jai Śri Kriśna.